CMD. So I want to open this. I create a folder called YouTube, and I want to open it in my VS Code. Not in my VS Code, my CMD, so I can create the Flint Dart project. I will have CMD. I also have what's called Flint updates. I want to ensure that I have latest version on my system. Okay, update is for a project. So upgrade, that's for this. Yeah, I already have latest version, the newest version. So what I just need to do is just say Flint create, then I'm going to say auth app. Okay, you say I can't use auth app for this. I need to have underscore like this. It's not a valid that application. I also have underscore, not dash. So I may need to delete this. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to say cd into our auth underscore app. Then I'm going to press what's called code space dot. Now, first thing we need to do anytime we create a project like this is to first of all set our environment variable. That's what I did first. So now the first thing to do, we are going to create a project. So let's go to our XAMPP. So I'm going to press admin like this. So I'm going to create a database. So I'm going to have what's called auth app. Press create. Then I will come to privileges here. Yeah. So after I've created it, I will come to privileges. So what I'm going to do, I want to create a new user here. Then I will press auth for the name of the user. Then it shall be at this presents means that it can be for anyone. So I will also use this auth app as password. Yeah, I love this. So I want to press create. Oh, sorry. Before I create, I need to click on check off for all the privileges now. Now I'm saying that this my auth user, maybe the user I'm trying to create, which is auth app, has capacity to grant other user on that thing to reload, to shut down, to show databases and all. So and also this user also can also create another user. But if you don't want to have what that kind of user to have that, you can just remove this administration this thing. But I don't know why I like it since it's my local host. So I can just press go like this. Now by pressing go, I have saved my user, then I have database here. Now what I need to do next is to come to this place and change this guy from password to auth, then this. Then I'm going to have this is going to also be this. Now it's not progress, this is called my SQL. Then the port is 3306. That's my SQL port. Then I want to also have a port. There's something called port here that is used. I don't know why it's not part of it. Just a kind of port alone is equal to 300, that is, or 3000, sorry. Now that is where the port that my application is going to run on. Now the next thing we need is this email provider. Now basically I'm going to use my email. So this email provider. So I'm going to use my Gmail. For those that do not know how to use Gmail to send SMTP, so what I'm going to use now is I'm going to change this to my Gmail. IBK2, that's my Gmail. So I will come to my email like this. I will come here like this. I will come to manage accounts. Sorry, manage account. Now it's going to depend on what you're going to use. So let's call app password. So now if you want to use app password, you might not have it. So if you want to use app password, you need to actually have um, two-factor authentication. You need to have two-factor authentication on your Gmail before you can use it. But I have it already, so I'll just put it like this. Now, when you search for app password, it requires you to put your password. Now, I'm going to put my password. Then we need to create a new project. So I'm going to put the name here. So what's the name? Auth app. So when you put auth app, the name here. So then you see the password. You can copy the password. Now you don't need, you should not use my own because if you use it, it won't work. I will delete it as soon as I'm done with this tutorial. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm done. So then I will come back here. Now I will put my password there. Now this password that is there, there's no need for it to have a space. You can remove the space and you can leave it there. Now if you want to leave it, you must be inside a quotation mark so that it must be as a string. But it does not necessary for it to have a space. And I have removed this. Then so you can leave this from ID. So I can just say from aim aim.com. So I guess this is all I need to set. So now next thing we need to do is to actually have basically our app routes is already registered. Now we don't need it at all. Is it non-able? Yes, non-able. We don't need that at all because we have already declared the port here. So I can just do it to remove this. If you have in your PNB, automatically it's going to take it. So so if you over on it, you see how it works here. So you take a port. Because if port is not provided, it will use EMB port that is there. Can you see? So I'll use this. So now I can remove it since I put it at the port. And that's all. And then there are things I just want to okay, then this gets that gave us the so this is ultras. So this is the ultras. Now what we're going to learn, we're going to learn how to use or how to do all this that is there. Now, it might be a good idea to just remove it, but it can also be a good idea to just use what's there while we continue learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this auth controller, that is um, controller model and view. So that is the kind of system that Flint Dart follow. Though you can actually have your system without that. You can just have it on your own without that. It's going to work fine. But now, what we need to do basically is that we need to go to controller here. Then we're going to see auth session. Now we can just read through this place and see how it works. But because even our own system is even different from this, so we are going to be creating it by ourselves from scratch. So now we can just try to clear everything. So first thing we need to just declare is what's called a class. Then you have what's called auth underscore auth controller. Then we are going to extend something called controller. I will say extend controller. Now controller is coming from this Flint Dart. So they give us something called controller that we can extend. And the next thing we need to do is to first of all write our register function. I'm going to have a void, is it void feature that is take response. Then I'm going to call it register then that is, so and it has to be async and you have to return something, or else it can be non-label like this. So now for our register, what we need to do basically is first of all ensure that we have a valid data. Now, what kind of data are we trying to receive from user? So we have first thing that is, which is coming from model here. So there's something called user model. And what does user have? User have a name, he has email, he has password, and he has provide picture. So these are the things that is expected of us to give to our user. And there's something I need to correct here. What I need to correct is that this password for us is not necessary. I need to say it is nullable true. So I don't want it to be necessary. I don't want it to be compulsory. So I need to put it to be nullable true. And then there's something I want to conceal. There's something called conceal. It's a list of string. So you can say override at override. So it's a list of string, a list of string, a list of string that say conceal is equal to them to return like this. Return. So I want to have a password is conceal. So nobody should see my password of the user into map. Okay, that's cool. So now this is our form is actually correct, but I want to have what's called a first name. I have first name that is and that is go for. Then I want to have a last name. We have last name. So then we have first name, last name, email, password, profile picture. Now in our own here, there are two ways we can create our edge. So now the two way, let's just first thing we're going to do is to actually ensure that what user is sending to us is actually a valid data. Now, because we are using a controller here, there's something that is made available for us. So I'm going to call a var or final data is equal to, there's something called back here because we are using, so if I'm not using this, I'm not going to say reg at all. So let's not validate. So now I'm going to put my rules here. So this rules is necessary. So now the first rule that I need is that I need what is called, so a user that wants to register should give me email, and the email should be email, the string first, and so over on this guy. So if it is email, I just want to put email here. Automatically, it's going to validate what user gives to us. If it's correct, then next thing we need is password. So I'll just put this guy very necessary. So this is going to be a string. Then I will use pipe to separately. So now the string is going to be also a confirmed one that I expect user to give me, and that one look like the double name. So then I also expect it to be minimum of at least it should be 6. So if I want to put minimum, I'm going to colon like this because I'm still continuing it 6. And I want a maximum. I don't even need maximum, and this is okay. This is this now because it's a register. Automatically, it's going to give me email, password, then with confirm password or password confirmation. Depends on what to do. So now, but I still need to request from the user what is called a name and full name. I want to say first, so it's going to also be string, then have a pipe, then it's going to be a minimum, also it's going to be 3, then the maximum, so 5 first. You have the maximum should be uh why your name will be more than 40. Okay, I didn't expect that. So now maximum should be 40, and that's good. Then What is too much, guy? Yeah, was because 18, since it's just first name, it's not full name. We have another one called last name. So then we're going to have max also to be that. So, but I need to have a comma here. Now, with this now, automatically our data is already validated. Var auth user is equal to auth. Auth, I can just call like this dot register. So now I just put the email and password there according to the email and according to the now. So so this is how it works. So this is feature dot string. So we need to have what's called array here for it to be able to work from everywhere. So now the issue now we are having currently now is that there's need for us to give this additional data. We can just have it like this, additional data like this. Then that's where we're going to have our just our first name, our data according to the first name. So we have our last name, data according to the last name. So now this is what thing that has given to us to register, and it's kind of there are a lot of things that is being done inside of it, and it's kind of automatic. So when you are done, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say what I want to do is that we're going to say something and say respond now dot JSON. So now I'm just going to give it the auth data, auth user, sorry. Now this makes our register done automatically. So we need to return back like this. Okay, so now currently our register is actually done. So what we need to do or do is that we come back here and we can just basically comment this out and also with this out so that we can test the register. Now, so there's one thing you need to search for, it's called Thunder Client. So you just come to your extension here, search for uh, Thunder Client, search for Thunder Client. Yeah. So now, when you install it, you're able to see it here like this. You can just press it here. So but before we are able to test it, what I need to do is to open my terminal here. So let's open my terminal. So I will come back to main here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say Flint. Let's see. So automatically, so our service worker is working on this guy. So we can just go to it. So you see that it's there, can you see? So our application is live on this place. So what we just need to do is copy it and come to our Thunder client, make a new request. Now, automatically, you can also make a GET request to this. Now, can you see it gets all the HTML for us. Now, but now is that we will come here. Now, this our register that is there. It is associated with something called a previous auth. Now, inside this place, it is registered on the root folder. There is nothing there. So now what it means is that we are going to have the root part. Then inside we have auth, which is called the prefix. Then we have the name called register. So let's come back to our other client. So we're going to have slash auth slash register. So get is not allowed here. Get is not allowed. I only to be able to post. Yeah, it said confirm password is necessary. So we need to do what is called confirm password. Now, the reason why it's giving us this is because the endpoint is working and then the validation is working. Now, another thing I want you to see is that Flint Dart is actually a kind of a great thing. We do not send, if you look at it, we do not do try and catch everything work automatically. So let's just continue and see so we can explain how register work very well later. So we're going to come to our body here and we have our JSON. So the first thing we need is email, IBK, password, let's use a password, then confirm password, let's also use password, that is the confirmation. So the next thing we have first name, now, then become, last name, then over. So now we don't have to end it with semicolon. So this is what we call a JSON. Now, if you're sending a JSON that is, it's good that you have a content type JSON. It's going to work without that, but it's good that you have content type. You have application.json. This is going to send JSON back to the backend. So let's just send this back. So it said my connection should be true here. It should have a true, not false. That's number one. But another thing that I know that is going to happen now, you call me like this. They're not existing in our database. Come to this user here. So nothing is here, there's no table. So first thing we need to do, and I supposed to have done that before I even start writing the program. So it's just that we need to first of all say something like Flint migrate. Now, if you send it again, it's not going to be the answer say and I went entirely. They give it to us. So then I want to press migrate that is sorry, migrate. So it's going to migrate the database for us. So can you see that migrate the database for us? So now if I try it again, yes, can you see that it's work now? It does not give us the error like before. So it has created users for us. The guys is none. If you notice, it does not give me back the password, and that's because we conceal it. And if I try to send it again, it will give me error that the user I'm creating is already exists. Oh, the error that it gives to me is said that fail to encode something something. Now, the error that happens is because we do not add what's called await here. So when I add await and I try to send the request, it's still loading. I try to send the request. I see what time it said user already exists. And that is done here alone. Now, if you don't put await there, you are not going to receive the error. You are not going to receive any, let's see kind of error you're going to receive again. So you see it. So can I see the kind of error that I receive? So, oh, sorry. The reason why I'm receiving the other is, I need to always call it on here. So let's do it again. If I come back here, if I send it, so you can see the error that we are receiving. Now, the reason why we're receiving it is because we do not have what is called await here. It is, we need to await for it. So if we come back here and send the request, so it's loading, so when it's done, if I send the request, and it's telling me that user already exists. Now, this is made available to us by Flint Dart to do our registration. It's very easy and easy to use. But sometimes we might not like to use, or maybe you want to do it yourself, like want to write it from scratch yourself. So a lot of things has been done inside of this space for us, and there's a lot of things that is being done. Now, we're going to explain how this work, and we may need to try to rewrite it in our own language here. Now, what happened here is that in our ENV, something is actually going on. So in our ENV, there's something called auth table. Now, if we come to this place, to our this way, you see that there's something called user here. That user has been created. Then it has created my password, everything that I have also here. Now, what's brought about this is because look at it, there's something called auth table, and the auth table choose what's called users. And that is where it's aware that okay, what you are using as your auth is a table called user here. So this table you are using as your auth. Now, in the AMP also, he knows what you call the auth email colon and the auth password colon. So he also knows your name, the name, what you want to use as name now, but we are not using name. So if you want to use this name, you need to choose the name where you want it to say what you want, where you want it to save. Now, in our own case, it's going to be first name down. But in this place, where am I going to put the name? There's a name property here. Here that when you put name here, anything you put here is going to be assigned to the name that you put in this your ANVM. So what I can do is that I can just say, okay, in my first name here, I'm going to put first name here again. I'm just going to put that here. Then I'm going to notice now since we can just create a new user. So I'm going to have a new user ID by saying that's okay, main. So this is just a test now, main. Then I'm going to have a password like this. Then so let me just send it again. I just change the name from first name to Tola. I say Victor. So if I send Victor now, my application is saved. If I come here, if I refresh, I should say Victor here. So can I say Victor is there now? Now is aware. Now, how does he aware that the first name should be Victor? Because I have set it there. I've said that the name is name. So if you change the colon password, maybe we call it password or password is new, call it, it's going to work here automatically. And that's how these their auth register, that's how they work. So you just connect it with your AMP and that's how they work. So now if we should create it ourselves, so let's attempt that. So now what we need to do now is basically to just have what's called a try and catch. Try and catch. So now what I'm going to say is that I'm going to first of all do something is that what I was down to say var user equal to user dot where, so where email is equal to email is equal to data according to email. Now dot get or dot first, let me first. Now I need to do await here. So the next thing I will do now, I'm going to say if user is not known, if it's not known, that shows that user already exists. I'm going to say return Sorry, it is not none, not equal to none, not equal to none. I would say yes dot JSON. So I would say status, I say false, I say message, I say MSG, I say user will be given email or ready exist. Then now because it's actually come down, so we may need to just have it inside the curly braces since it's not in front of it again. So now if it is not known now, we are going to create a user. I'm going to say the same user. So user is equal to await user dot create. Now if I'm creating, I'm just going to put this data inside of it because all data we require is the same name we call them in our database in our model here. In our model here, is the same name we call them inside this place. So what we just need to do is just put the data inside of it, and that's it. That's all. Then the next thing we need to do is that if dot is also not none, if it is none equal to none, what am I returning? I'm returning back what's it called this. So I can just put inside colon. Say return back what's it called yes dot JSON. So it will be status true just false. SG is that with key. So I want to say user not created. So I just tell you that. So I end with semicolon. So this is just to talk about that. Oh, the user is not created. Now, if it's successful now, I say if user is equal to successful, like is not now, is not now. So we're going to do what that does for. So yes, he's saying that there's nothing like this because already you have already checked if it's none. So if it's not, we're not going to get here at all. So already we know that it's not going to be none if we get there. So what we just need to do is to just return and say response.json. So we can just say status. So now this allows you to have your dynamic or way you want to use the data. I say status true. That's true because it's successful. I say data. So I can return back the user's data that is being saved. Same user it. So now, so then if I try to register now, let's see what's going to happen. So you can see user with the given email already exists. Now, this is we doing it manually. So we are doing manually, that's what we have to. Now, if there's any other error that happens, so I don't also return dot JSON, maybe any error that we don't even, we're not even expecting. I'm going to say error true. So we don't need this. So but now if I send it, still loading. So you can see now. So user the given may already exist. Yeah, it work, but this is not a good way of creating a user in Flint Dart. The reason is that this user have confirmation password, and that's going to give us a kind of error. And then this password, we need to hash it, like turn it to a security, to hash it before we save it. So to do that, we need to actually ensure that it has just this, like this. Then we call the name. So we have what's called first name. So you have data according to first name. So you have comma. So you have last name. Then we have what is called last name also. Then you have something called, then you have last name. You have email. Then you have data according to email. Then lastly is the password. Now we are not saving confirmed password. That's why the other way we did is not going to work in production level. So you have password, you have data according to password. Now we won't just save that, we need to hash it. So there's a hash system that Flint Dart asks for. We are hashing at it, then we have what's called dot hash. So inside of it, I want to put our data like this according to what is called password. So this is how to create a user or a authenticated user in Flint Dart. So if you try to send a request again, you see that it's going to work fine, perfectly fine. Thank you.